Week 9, dead and gone. We move on to Week 10 starting Thursday night. But before we wrap up Week 9, we have to hand out the awards. MDS joins us with the awesome Pat Tillman jersey, Veterans Day, etc. And Pat Tillman, I saw he would have turned 45 the other day, which I already feel old. That makes me feel even older. So we welcome in MDS, the youngest of this trio. He starts us off with Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Week is
week. Yeah, they know who we mean. Go ahead.
Who had the most receiving yards of any player in the NFL this week, by the way, 126 in the Falcons' win over the Saints. And, Patterson is on his 5th NFL team. He's having his best season. He has already surpassed his career high in rushing yards. He's just 10 yards short of his career high in receiving yards, and we're obviously only 8 games into the season, which is now less than halfway through the season. He's just done such a great job this year. And I loved what he said. He said, well, my mom worked 3 jobs when I was growing up. I can handle the 3 jobs of running back, wide receiver, and kickoff return.
I'm going to go with a quarterback in Cleveland, MDS, and perhaps no one has been harder on Baker Mayfield than I have. But I thought he did a great job of handling the week very well. Physically, mentally, everything else. We know that shoulder's banged up. Odell Beckham's dad calls him out. It's a bad situation in Cleveland. I realize he got a lot of help from Nick Chubb. He got a lot of help from Denzel Ward. He got a lot of help from Myles Garrett. But he was the leader of that team, and he came out and performed very well, 14-21, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a perfect quarterback rating into the third quarter and ended up at 138.2. He had just, I thought, a really outstanding game, especially based on all the distractions of the week, Mike.
Yeah, I remember very vividly the line that you had early 2020 as the Browns were struggling. I think Baker Mayfield has more commercials than he has NFL victories, and that's when they – maybe he heard you then. Maybe you're the reason why he turned it around. Maybe you're the reason why he turned it around this week, although I think getting rid of Odell Beckham Jr. had a lot to do with what we saw in Cleveland, or at least from Cleveland in Cincinnati. I'm going to go to Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, the double-triple, as MDS coined the phrase, the 12th time in Lamar Jackson's career he has 100 or more rushing yards and 100 or more passing yards. He had 120 against the Vikings. And I like how he stays calm and he has that very deliberate demeanor now that they fall behind. The book on Lamar Jackson used to be he couldn't bring the Ravens back from behind, but they were down 14 points in the second half against the Vikings, and it was never an issue. It was never a problem. And the Ravens needed this one after losing 24-6 to the Chargers before their bye week at home. The last thing they needed was to sandwich the bye week with a loss at home to a Vikings team they should have had an easier time with than they did. But credit to Lamar Jackson, great day statistically, and had that calm hand for the offense. And I just wish during his bye week, Lamar Jackson's agent, Lamar Jackson, would have gotten his contract done, because he's got the rest of the season now where he's carrying this injury risk and he's playing that very physical style, and I just wish he would get his financial reward because he deserves it. All right, Defensive Player of the Week time, MDS, who do you have?
Well, Josh Allen of the Jaguars contributed to a miserable game for Josh Allen of the Bills. Josh Allen sacked Josh Allen. Josh Allen intercepted Josh Allen. Josh Allen recovered a Josh Allen fumble. The Jaguars defense has been really bad for most of this season, but we're talking about Defensive Player of the Week. And for this week, I thought Josh Allen was outstanding for that Jaguars defense. I don't know that I'm persuaded that this Jaguars team has turned it around or that the franchise is heading in the right direction, but that defense certainly played its best game of the season on Sunday against the Bills.
It was a great weekend for defensive players. TJ Watt, J.C. Jackson, Xavier McKinney, Denzel Ward, they can't even make our list. I'm going with Jeffrey Simmons. I thought he was just dominant. He was more Aaron Donald than Aaron Donald in that game against the Rams, and nobody except Mike Tirico gave the Titans even a sliver of a chance to win that game, and they were so good on defense. 6 tackles, 3 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and 3 tackles for loss, Mike. for the Titans defensive tackle. Just played really, really well, and I think he showed why they made him a first-round draft pick.
And look, even though we probably should get some other teams involved here, I'm staying with the Titans. That's how dominant they were on Sunday night against the Rams. And we're at the point in the season where I think that maybe teams are cracking the code on what a team does offensively, and maybe the book is out now on the Rams offense with Matthew Stafford at quarterback. Kevin Byard had that pick six. And I spoke to him after they beat the Colts the prior weekend, and just the passion he has, the energy he has. I think he's the heart and soul of that defense, even with Jeffrey Simmons playing as well as he. Look at how he jumps that route. That's film study. That's coaching. This is what they do in this spot, and he got there, and he makes that pick. He reads that play, and off he goes, and that was a big moment in the game. That was when the snowball was careening downhill for the Rams, and they were never going to dig out of that hole. So good work by the Titans all around in winning a game that only Mike Tirico thought they were going to ultimately win. Rookie of the Week time, MDS, who do you have?
Eagles wide receiver Devontae Smith had, I think, his best game as a pro against the Chargers, catching 5 of the 6 passes thrown to him for 116 yards and a touchdown. I think we've talked on this segment before about how Jamar Chase, the Bengals rookie receiver from LSU, has built-in chemistry with his college quarterback, Joe Burrow. And I see something similar with Devontae Smith and his Alabama teammate, Jalen Hurts. The chemistry between these two looks a lot better than you'd normally see from a second-year quarterback and a first-year receiver. And although Chase is the rookie of the year favorite, I think by the end of the year, we might start talking a little bit about Devontae Smith as a rookie of the year candidate.
MDS, the Broncos came into Arlington on Sunday, and I was at the game, and they made the Cowboys defense look like the Cowboys defense of last season, ran all over them. Javonte Williams was a big reason for that. He had a career-high 111 yards, 17 carries. They had 190 yards rushing overall. Melvin Gordon had 80. Second-round choice showed that he needs to get the ball more, and I do wonder why the Broncos haven't given it to him more. But he deserves more carries after what he did. He was the first Broncos rookie with 100 yards since Philip Lindsay had 3 such games in 2018.
You know, I did Justin Fields as my Rookie of the Week last week, and I got to do it again this week. Even though they lost again, Bears fans have reason to be excited. I can make the argument that Justin Fields is the best of the 5 rookie quarterbacks so far. We saw him throw it with depth and accuracy on Monday night. We saw him not get rattled when they fell behind both 14-0 and 20-6. Some of those balls, now that one was a little bit underthrown, but still he hit a guy who was open, and the catch is made, and off they go. He just, I was very impressed with his poise under fire in a spot like Pittsburgh in prime time. If I'm a Bears fan, I can deal with the losses because I expected them anyway this year. What has me excited is next year when Justin Fields is the guy wire to wire with all the first team reps in the offseason program, training camp, preseason, and ready to go week 1, we may be onto something special here with Justin Fields. All right, next up, Coach of the Week, MDS, who do you have?
Bill Belichick has been such a successful coach for so long now that we sometimes forget about him when we're talking about Coach of the Week or Coach of the Year, but he showed once again on Sunday what a good defensive game planner he is. The Panthers just had nothing for the Patriots defense. Belichick definitely knows how to shut down Sam Darnold. And don't look now, but the Patriots have won 4 out of their last 5. The only loss was in overtime against the Cowboys. This New England team is going to be a tough team to beat over the second half of the season.
I had some questions coming into this season about Cliff Kingsbury, and I definitely thought he was on the hot seat. I don't think he's on the hot seat anymore, and he's my choice for Coach of the Week. No Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins, no A.J. Green. Of course, maybe that was a good thing because he didn't turn around for the one on the week before. But it was no problem for this Cardinals team. They got it done, Mike, with Colt McCoy. Came in with an 8-22 record as a starter for the teams he was on. 5 teams now he's been on, and he got it done. Cardinals got it done. Great game plan by Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, I was one of the ones who thought he was on the hot seat and wasn't going to survive, so they have been incredible. And to win that game against a desperate 49ers team with Colt McCoy at quarterback, very impressive. I'm going back to Tennessee. You know, I thought about Kevin Stefanski because he weathered the storm very adeptly with OBJ, and they got a much-needed win. But what the Titans were able to do with the Rams, I think, was the most impressive outcome of the week. And I'm sorry, all apologies to Vic Fangio and the other coaches who found a way to get big victories. What Vrabel did in a big spot against the team that many thought was the best in the league, without Derrick Henry, to turn the page with no woe is me, no, oh, it's not our year after all, none of that down-in-the-mouth crap, next man up, the Belichick mindset, no excuses for injury. We expect to continue to play at a high level regardless of who's able to play. That rubbed off on Vrabel, and he deserves the credit as one of the Coach of the Week winners here on PFTPM.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.